Hello students, we are discussing about assessment of firms. In the previous session we discussed about section 184, that is relating to assessment of a firms, and section 40 subsection B, which is relating to computation of income of a partner from a firm. And we also studied the format of computation of book profit and total income of the firm. In this session, let us solve one problem relating to computation of income of a firm. See this problem. Compute the income of the firm from business in the following cases. Conditions under section 184 and 40B, that is fulfilled. First one, book loss 50,000, remuneration paid to working partners 1,60,000. Second condition, book loss 80,000, remuneration to working partners 1,75,000. Third one, book profit 1,80,000, remuneration to working partners 1,50,000. Next one, book profit 6 lakhs and remuneration to working partners 4,10,000. As we discussed in the previous session, there is a specified limit to the payment of remuneration to any working partner as per the partnership deed. Up to a specified limit, they can use to calculate firm's income, that is, they can show it as expense to the company. Above that limit, they cannot include that in computation of a firm's income. Payment of remuneration to any working partner authorized by and in accordance with the deed after the date of the deed exceeding the specified limit is disallowed, that they cannot include in calculation of firm's income. The specified limit we already discussed in the previous session. As the discussion, if book profit is negative, the specified limit, that is maximum limit of remuneration to working partner, can be included or can be considered is 1,50,000. If the book profit is positive, on first 3 lakhs of book profit, 90% of book profit or 1,50,000, whichever is more we have to consider, and on balance of book profit, 60% of book profit should be considered. That is the specified limit. Above that they cannot consider. Let us solve this problem. Here, compute the income of the firm from the business in the following cases. Condition 184, that is relating to assessment of firm, and 40B, that is relating to remuneration, is fulfilled. Let us solve this problem. Here 4 conditions are given. We have to calculate the income of the firm in these 4 cases. See the note first. As I explained, payment of remuneration, if the book profit is negative up to 1,50,000, they can consider. If the book profit is positive, on first 3 lakh of book profit, 90% of book profit or 1,50,000, whichever is more to be taken into consideration, and on balance of book profit, 60% they have to consider. See the computation of total income of the firm. First situation, there is a book loss of 50,000. From that you have to deduct remuneration to working partner. You will come to know about this in detail while solving other problems. Now concentrate on this problem only. If they give such a problem, you have to solve like this. Book loss 50,000 less remuneration to working partner. Here book loss is given, as the condition says, if there is a profit in is negative, that is, if there is any loss, 1,50,000 is the maximum limit. So actual remuneration or 1,50,000, whichever is less, you have to deduct from a book loss or book profit as remuneration to working partner. Remember one thing, only remuneration to working partner should be considered to calculate the book profit and not any other partner. Only working partner you have to consider. So when you deduct this thing, you get a negative figure of 2 lakhs, that is firm's income, that is actually loss to the firm, because there is actually one loss and on that they have to pay remuneration to working partners. So in first situation there is loss of 2 lakhs. See the second situation where book loss is 80,000 and remuneration to working partners 1,75,000. See here, book loss 80,000, from that you have to deduct remuneration to working partners, that is actual remuneration 1,75,000 or 1,50,000, whichever is less you have to consider. Here 1,50,000 is less because actual remuneration paid is 1,75,000. So you have to consider 1,50,000. So when you deduct this thing from book loss, there is also one loss of 2,30,000 because you are deducting from negative figure. You know minus is equal to plus, you have to add that two thing and that is in negative figure, and minus sign you have to put, you know that calculation. So here there is loss of 2,30,000 in the second case. And the third one is book profit of 1,80,000 and they paid remuneration of 1,50,000. Here when the book profit is positive, on first 3 lakh of book profit, 90% of book profit or 1,50,000, whichever is more you have to consider. Then you have to calculate actual remuneration paid and this condition, whichever is less. First you have to consider whichever is more, that is 90% of book profit or 1,50,000, whichever is more. Then in the next step you have to consider whichever is less, that is 90% of book profit or 1,50,000, whichever is more, or actual remuneration paid. See in this problem, book profit 1,80,000 less 90% of book profit, that is 90% of 1,80,000. Remember this one, here 90% of book profit and not the actual remuneration paid. Remember that thing, 90% of book profit, 1,80,000 into 90 by 100, that amounts to rupees 1,62,000 or 1,50,000, whichever is more you have to consider here. Here 1,62,000 is more, so you considered 1,60,000 or actual remuneration 1,50,000. Whichever is less you have to consider here. Okay, first whichever is more, in the next step whichever is less. Here 1,50,000, that is actual remuneration is less, so you have to consider 1,50,000. So when you deduct remuneration from book profit, you get firm's income, that is 30,000 in the third situation. Next see, book profit 6 lakhs and actual remuneration paid 4,10,000. In this case there is more than 3 lakhs of book profit. At that time you have to consider on first 3 lakhs 90% and on the rest of the amount 60% you have to consider. So as per that, on first 3 lakhs 90%, that amounts to 2,70,000. Here we did not consider that 90% of 3 lakhs or 1,50,000, whichever is more, because obviously 90% of 3 lakhs is more, that is why we have not written that thing, or else you have to compare that thing, 90% of first 3 lakhs or 1,50,000, whichever is more. Here 2,70,000 is more, and on balance of book profit 60%, that is 6 lakhs book profit, From that you have to deduct the first 3 lakh you considered for 90% calculation. The balance is 3 lakhs. On that 3 lakh 60% you have to consider. That amounts to rupees 1,80,000. So the total of this percentage on book profit amounts to rupees 4,50,000. Or actual remuneration 4,10,000, whichever is less. Here whichever is less you have to consider here 4,10,000, that is actual remuneration paid is less. So when you deduct actual remuneration paid from book profit, you get firm's income as 1,90,000 rupees. So this is the calculation relating to calculation of firm's income when book profit and remuneration to working partners are given. This type of problem may come for 6 marks in your exam. Simple problems you can solve it easily. Before going through this problem or coming problems, you should be thorough about the format of computation of book profit and computation of firm's total income. So please go through that format once again. In the next session onwards, let us solve a proper problem which may appear for 6 marks or 24 marks in your final exam. Thank you.